Hey guys, it's Spiffy Guy and I'm back here with another quick gear video to talk about my camera recording equipment. I've had a few questions about what gear I use to shoot the videos, and so I figured I would show you guys that right now. Alright, of course the most important thing would be the camera itself, and I'm using a Kodak PlaySport ZX5. I'll insert some pictures here to kind of show you the front and back of it. But essentially, it's just a small little handheld camera, very similar to a cell phone. It allows you to shoot still pictures, and it allows you to shoot video in varying formats, or times and resolutions. It will do 1080 at 30 frames a second. It will also do 720 at 60 frames a second, which is what I shoot in. I don't know why I chose that. I just kind of settled on that as to be a resolution that was good, and I, for some reason, figured that the 60 frames a second would give me a little bit clearer shot. I may change that in the future. You guys can weigh in below as to what you think a best resolution is. Some of the nice things about the camera is it's small. It fits in your hand. It fits very well in the front pocket of my 511 Taclite Pro Pants. It is 4.5 ounces, I believe, right around that area. It came with a little lanyard, but I took the lanyard off. Let's see, some other nice things is it's waterproof. Apparently you can put it underwater. I haven't been brave enough to do that yet. And it is kind of dust proof and shock proof. I have dropped it. It has gotten dirty, and I've never had an issue with it. It's a good camera. There is one sort of caveat that I've had a problem with, is it will shoot still images, but I have had it brick up switching from still back to video. And I did a video when I was out, I believe it was the Middle Fork, I'm not sure, but I ended up having to shoot the first day with my phone, which is a Samsung Galaxy S4. This is sort of my backup, and I've now used this to shoot still images. So any still images that I'm shooting, I'm going to do with this. This will do video as well, although it's a little unwieldy, and it kind of gets a little shaky on it. But this will work as well. You know, if you're just looking to go out and shoot videos, you'd be surprised. These cell phone cameras are pretty good. So that's sort of my backup there. Some of the cons that come with the Kodak ZX5 is the battery is not removable. So the ZX3 was, which is the preceding model, but it didn't have the macro functions that the ZX5 had. So I made sure to get the ZX5. Charging is not necessarily an issue. I've talked about this before, but this is an Anker. This is a 15,000 milliamp hour battery, and I charge this up before I go, and this pretty much will do everything I need it to do. This is heavy though. It weighs about 11 ounces, but the output on this will charge my phone, it charges the camera, and it will charge my Kindle, and essentially this is all I need to bring. I've not had any issues with this particular battery in the extreme cold. Like any other battery, it does not like the cold. And so I keep it in a little Walmart bag, and then I stick it in my jacket pocket once I get to camp. And that way when I go to charge it up at night, charge up any of my electronics, it's good and ready to roll. The camera and the phone all stay in pockets next to my body when it's cold, and that way they stay warm, and it helps the batteries last a little bit longer. Tripods, that's going to be a big thing. When I'm at home, I just have a generic tripod. It's actually made by Samsonite, who makes luggage. I don't know why they made a tripod, but I have one. And it has the adjustments and the movable ball head and all that, which is useful at home. Out in the field, typically I will only bring this particular little GorillaPod. Since the camera is small, I don't need a large GorillaPod. This thing is a little bit of a pain to get off, and when you put it on the Kodak ZX5, you kind of got to use your fingernail and screw that in there to get a nice tight fit. But other than that, it works real well. I can jam a trekking pole in the ground and wrap this around a trekking pole and use that as a tripod if I need a little bit more height. Or I just use a tree, a sapling, whatever I can find lying around, and I just wrap this around there, and that works out well. I did put a mount on one of my trekking poles, and I'll put a little picture of that here. All that is a screw that fits into the tripod mount on the camera. It's a particular bolt. I forget the size. I believe it's a 1/4 inch, and I think it's 440 is the threads. I don't know. You'll have to look that up. But anyway, and I used a little electrical conduit clamp that was coated in some rubber, and that helps keep it from slipping. And then I just put a couple nuts on there to adjust it. And like I said, you can take a look at the picture. And I bent it with a pair of pliers to get the angle right. And that stays on my trekking pole at all times, and that way I can just pop the camera on there and use the trekking pole as sort of that selfie stick, I guess it would be called. The only bummer is that it doesn't have the quick release like the GorillaPod. I've thought about buying a GorillaPod and mounting a ball head from the GorillaPod on my trekking pole, and that way I can easily switch between the two without having to unscrew the little attachment. If I know that I'm going to be shooting a lot of videos and I'm going to want a tripod, I bring this guy. This is a Zipshot, okay? And all it is it's a tripod that uses basically tent poles. They slide together, and it's got the elastic, and you know, the poles just fit into themselves. So far, I haven't had any issues with it. The only real issue that I have with this is you don't really have a whole lot of adjustability. There's no height adjustment. You do have a movable ball head, and that ball head is removable. If you have one, you can swap it out. This weighs in at about 11.3 ounces, I believe. Now I have cheated a little bit, and I have adjusted the legs and, you know, set it up like this to where it won't collapse on itself, and that way I can have it a little bit lower. But there's 3 sections on the pole, so you could kind of get a little bit of height adjustment if you wanted to. And that's pretty much about it. Not really too exciting. I hate to burst anybody's bubble. The Kodak ZX5, I'm quite happy with the camera. I picked it up for about $35 on eBay. You can find them used. Make sure to get a bright color. Don't get the black color, because if you drop it, you'll never find it. I got a blue. A blaze orange would have been better, but that was like $20 more, so I got the blue. And that's about it. Going forward, I'm thinking about getting a new camera. One of the things that the ZX5 lacks is zoom. You probably have seen that if you're a subscriber. I do have digital zoom on there, but it has a tendency to get very grainy as you zoom in. So I would like some optical zoom. I'm kind of looking at, I believe it's the Sony, the Vixia. Maybe it's Canon, I forget. Anyway, the Vixia like 600 or whatever the one is out now, it's about 350 bucks. I have seen some videos. I believe Wrangler Star just bought one, and he's using that. He is complaining about audio quality, and he has a Bluetooth microphone. That is something I don't necessarily know if I want to deal with out in the field, having to mess with the Bluetooth microphone and plug it in, you know, because a lot of times I just pull the camera out and I just want to take the shot. So having a little camcorder like that, yes, they're small, but it doesn't fit in a pocket. It's a little bit bigger, so now I got to put it in like a side pocket maybe of my backpack, something like that. So those are some things that I'm kind of thinking about, but I would like to get that optical zoom. I think that is a nice feature, and image stabilization I think would help with my video shooting and your nausea, because sometimes I'm all over the place. Anyway, I'd like to get some ideas, what you think. Like I said, about 300 to 350 is kind of where I'm looking at my budget on the camera itself. I don't know. I have thought about possibly getting a Bluetooth microphone if I did get a new camera for the videos around the home series, like in the yard and things like that, or if I'm doing build videos at home. Maybe I would bring it out in the field if I was at camp, but certainly shooting, you know, on the trail, I don't think I'd want to have to mess with putting it on and taking it off and that sort of thing. But it would be nice to have the 2 cameras. You could get different views, and it might look a little bit more professional, and I would be all fancy. So if you have any comments on the fanciness, let me know down below in the comment section or up on the Facebook page. I'm still kind of, you know, plugging away, figuring things out, and so far the video stuff has worked well. One quick question that I had was, what do I use to edit the software-wise to edit the video? And to be honest, I use Picasa to kind of preview my videos and figure out what needs to go where. And I have an old version of Sony Vegas that I snagged from work, and I like that because it's linear. I can kind of put pictures over them, I could do insets if I wanted to, and it works a little bit better. But the Windows Movie Maker is a really good program. I used that in the beginning. I just wanted something a little bit more non-linear editing. And there's a few free options out there. You can do a search for that, and you can find Windows and Linux versions of that. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, let me know. And just remember that life's an adventure, and go out and have one. I've not had any issues in the extreme cold carrying this. The clock is going off because it makes noise, Disney noise, like Beauty and the Beast and Celine Dion. Oh my God, Celine Dion drives me up the wall. I gotta wait. Clock's still going off.